FHSU volleyball had the perfect start to their season under first-year head coach Jessica Wood-Atkins. The Tigers won all 4 matches at the Aggies Challenge last weekend, hosted by Oklahoma Panhandle State. Joining me now is head coach Jessica Wood-Atkins and Abby Hayes, junior libero. Coach, congrats on the first 4 wins to open the season. What were your thoughts on your team's performance?
Thank you. I was very pleased with our team's performance. We have a very young team, and so from that standpoint, as far as I was concerned, pretty untested, I think. And so for me, it was good to see them come ready to compete every single match.
You guys were able to dominate all opponents last week, only dropping 1 set in 4 matches. How nice was that to start the season on such a strong note?
Well, I think it's encouraging. You know, some of the teams that we see in the MIAA are quite challenging. They're ranked top in the country, and so for us to be able to focus every point, I think, was critical for us, and it gives you a sense of confidence, a little breath of relief, get the jitters out, and so it was very nice to start off that way.
What surprised you the most about last weekend?
I think what surprised me the most is considering we have members of our team who are in positions that they've never played before. Really, there were only 2 steady ones. They played like they had been there and been together for years. That was quite a surprise, and I think that our really young ones, our freshmen, did a good job stepping in and competing at the collegiate level, which is always a good surprise. You never know how they're going to do with that, and they stepped up.
All right, that's good. So coaches are always happy to win, but always eager to improve also. What did you see during the weekend that needs some improvement?
I think, as always, serve and serve receive you can never get too good at. I think that we can definitely use some work there still, and always will. But I think the biggest thing for us focusing on that is learning situations, how to capitalize when an opportunity arises, how to see it in that moment. And I think I would like to see improvement in our offense, being able to mix the offense up a little bit. We tend to get comfortable with what works, and when you do that too often, the opponents know where you like to go.
Right.
And so I think that we need to get a little bit more comfortable with that.
You had a big weekend, especially from some of your newcomers, Isabel Reynolds, Kayla Vidstam. Are you excited about the depth that they provide your team?
Yes, I'm very excited about those 2. I think that they don't play like freshmen. They both came in with some tremendous experience from high school and club that I think relates very well with what we see, and they're not just good hitters, and that's the best part about those 2 is they're both well-rounded players. They can play back row, they can block, so they are multidimensional.
And Abby, she had a big weekend also. She averaged 6 digs per set in Saturday's matches, and Taylor White continues to provide solid defense in the back row. How key is it for good first contact from your veteran defensive specialist?
Oh, it's critical. You know, we talk about in serve receive passing and even off of a dig, getting a ball into a zone where the setter can set all 3 hitters is critical, as opposed to just getting it up. It's getting it up and to a place, and I think Abby does a great job of that, and so does Taylor. They're both incredibly fast, so they can get to a lot more than anybody else can, but more than that, they know how to control the ball in a manner that we can run an efficient and effective offense.
The competition gets even tougher this weekend against some tough NSIC opponents. Talk a little about the competition you'll face this weekend, and what's going to be the key to come away with some victories.
I think this weekend we're going to see some athletes that are bigger, taller, and hit probably a heavier ball than we saw this past weekend. And you're talking about some programs that are very seasoned. They've got coaches who've been in place a long time. They've been successful for a long time, and so they don't make many errors. So I think we are well matched in the style of play that we have, but it's going to be tough to get some wins. But I think if we can compete this weekend, we can compete in the MIAA.
The team struggled last year before you took over the head coaching position. How important was it to start off the season on such a strong note?
Well, I think it's very important to start any season off on a strong note. I think coming off of last year, we had the risk of dealing with some confidence issues, and changing your mental game is much harder than changing your actual physical game, and so that is what we have worked a lot on, and seeing those things in place and having success just shows that we're on the right path.
Abby, the team is off to a 4-0 start. What are your thoughts from getting on the floor for the first time this season?
My thoughts were we ended up doing really well. I think the team came together, not only in play but off the court. My thoughts were it was nice to just get out there and play competition against someone other than ourselves. We got to get the jitters out, the first game, freaking out a little bit, and we showed that we can compete and we can play.
You also had success behind the serving line as well. You averaged 5 digs per set in the first 4 matches. Playing the libero position, what are you looking forward to reading on each play that allows you to get into the position and make critical digs for the team?
Well, first I look at the hitter. Before the game, we get a little more intel on the hitter. Hey, this hitter hits short, this hitter hits deep. So first I got to know where my hitters are. That girl hits straight down, that girl hits on the right side. So I get help from coaches and my blockers. They tell me, hey, this girl's right here. And when I see her go up, I look at the set and I try to get in position as well as I can to get that ball up.
A casual observer at the tourney this weekend had mentioned how they really like how you play the game. They noticed how active you were moving around and the effort you gave out there. Do you think it's critical to your teammates to lead by example with the effort that you put out on the court?
Yeah, of course. I think it's a very important thing. I mean, effort is, I think, 90% of your game. And if someone sees me or Taylor or Aslan, running as fast as you can, diving into the stands to get a ball, they're going to say, hey, I'm going to do that too, or hey, I'm going to put this ball down. So I think leading by example is very important. What you put out on the court is what you're going to get from your teammates, and I think it's very important.
To go away from the sport of volleyball for a second, tell us about what you are majoring in as a student here.
Well, as a freshman, I came in undecided, as most freshmen do. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And by my sophomore year, I decided to do tourism and hospitality management. And I'm very excited. I'm really happy with what I picked. I very much enjoy it, and I think I'm going to concentrate in event planning. So,
okay, that's awesome. Talk about the focus that you have to put into your studies while on the road.
Oh yeah, you really got to focus. It's hard. I mean, even the first week we had to miss a couple classes, and what I think I really need to focus on is getting in touch with my teachers, saying, hey, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to be here in your office hours, I'm going to be working on the road, I'm going to get stuff done, and I think if you get connected with them, you're going to have a better chance of success in your class.
Talk about your plans after you graduate.
After I graduate. That's a long ways. I'm hoping to get an internship this summer in my field, and I'm hoping to get more experience in that field, considering I just picked my major. So I'm looking into more event planning sides after college, hopefully moving out of my house with my parents, who knows, but I am looking forward to graduating and finding a career in event planning. I'm very excited.
How important is it for the team to come out and continue to improve this weekend against some tough D2 competition?
It's very important. As Coach said, if we can compete against these teams we play next weekend, we'll be able to compete in the conference. I think we need to take what we learned in the past weekend and work in these 3 practices that we have to face these tougher teams. I think we did a good job this weekend playing our level, and I think we're going to take that into next weekend, playing at our level against teams that are at our level too. So I'm very excited to see tougher competition, get some hard hits hit at me. I'm ready. I think this team's ready too. We want to show what we got.
Well, thank you, Coach. Thank you, Abby, for joining me. When we return, track and field's Brett Meyer will be sitting with me.
Five, 4, 3, 2, take it.
The Tiger Media Network is Fort Hays State University's independent student media organization. It's a student employment opportunity where you can work for either the news side or the sports side. So you can be on live sports production, which produces all of the live sports broadcasts that we do, or you could be on the news side and do news stories covering things on campus, so presidential announcements, Student Government Association. We bring that news to the student community and the Hays community as well.
You don't realize how much Fort Hays State has to offer until you're here.
I mean, it is definitely, this is a land of opportunity here.
I just got back from the MIAA tournament in Kansas City a couple weeks ago where we worked with other production crews including Pitt State and Central Missouri. And it's a great time. I've gone there the last couple years.
For me anyway, I get to do sports, which is what I love. And if live productions is where that's at.
This is the perfect place to do it. We have almost everything that you could possibly imagine.
Tiger Media Network allows you the opportunity to take the skills you've learned and put them forward in a real world, real application setting that allows you to flourish and grow as a professional, and that will only help you and benefit you when you graduate and go into the real world workforce.
Today we welcome FHSU track and field's Brett Meyer. The senior mid-distance runner produced impressive feats during the 2018 indoor and outdoor seasons. During the indoor season, Meyer earned NCAA All-American honors. He was also the national runner-up in the mile during the indoor season. Meyer earned honors in the spring as well with a 3-minute and 43-second time in the 1,500-meter race. It was the second fastest 1,500-meter run in school history. Only John Mason was faster by 0.6 of a second. Mason is a 14-time All-American and the most decorated athlete in FHSU track and field history. But Meyer's success didn't end when the 2018 spring season ended. This summer, Meyer, now a senior, ran a sub-4-minute mile at the Festival of Miles in St. Louis in late May. Meyer finished with a time of 3 minutes and 59 seconds, finishing 6th of 14 runners. Brett, talk about your indoor and outdoor seasons last year at FHSU. Did you expect them to be as phenomenal as they were?
Last indoor and outdoor seasons shaped up to be really amazing. I did not expect it to go out that way, but I started out being an 800-meter runner, and eventually me and my coach started talking, and we're like, we think we can do better in the mile and indoor and outdoor. So we transitioned to the mile and the 1,500, and just right off the bat, I just kept dropping my time every race I ran. So I eventually got to 4:06 at the indoor season, and that was huge, but I did not expect that. And then outdoor season came along, and I ran 3:43, which was the second fastest time here at Fort Hays. And I put my goals down for the season, and I put like 3:47. So I did not expect to go that fast, but I'll take it.
When the outdoor season came last year, you ran an impressive time in California to miss John Mason's 1,500-meter record. Did you know you were having a special season?
Yeah, after I ran that time, I knew something special was working, but once I did it, I couldn't believe it, kind of, because when I got here as a freshman, everyone talked about John Mason, how great he was and how great he is, and to be put up my name right next to his and almost break his record was pretty cool. So I hope to break that record this year and put my name up there.
The race in St. Louis happened after the end of the school year, but were you surprised at the number of people who reached out to you about breaking that 4-minute mile mark?
I wasn't really surprised because most people know about running, but when you talk about running, everyone knows about the sub 4-minute mile. So everyone I knew in my phone book contacted me. So that was kind of a pretty cool deal. But me and my friends that went up to St. Louis and traveled there with me to run, I just kind of put my phone aside and just had a good time, celebrated with them, and I actually got to celebrate with some professional runners. So we just kind of put the phone aside and just took it in.
Speaking of professional runners, how amazing was it to be running in that race with them?
Oh, it was so amazing. I think I was one of 3 runners that were still running in the collegiate level. So I actually got roomed with a Brooks athlete, which is a big-time sponsorship, and he actually got to teach me a lot of things about professional running and things that go with it. And to go up to that starting line with those guys, and I'm the underdog, was a pretty cool thing.
Did you have any thoughts about breaking the 4-minute barrier in the mile prior to last season?
Coming up to the season, I did not. I did not think that was something I could do because, like I said, I was an 800 runner, and they moved me up, and I was like, maybe I could break 4:10, but not the sub 4-minute mile. But once I got closer and ran 4:06 and the end of the season came along, me and my friends just put some goals down, and my motto for that week was, why not? Why not go under 4 minutes?
Was there any special training involved to get you to that sub 4-minute mile?
Yeah, the whole season, it was a long year of multiple 70-mile weeks, 60-mile weeks, and then when we got to track season, the main thing was speed and speed endurance. We did a lot of 400s and 200s that were real fast on the track that primed me up perfectly. I had an amazing training partner, Dean Cronin, which we just hammered out fast times all the time. So I think the speed helped me the most in the mile.
In track, the 4-minute mile is one of those magical terms. When you realized you accomplished the feat, what was going through your mind?
Oh man, when I crossed the line, I actually didn't know what had happened. I thought I ran like 4 flat, so I'm just waiting, and it felt like an eternity that my name would come up to the projector. So I'm just waiting, and finally it hit Brett Meyer ran 3:59, and me and my friends just jumped up in joy, and the whole crowds were going crazy. So there was just a lot of stuff going through my mind, and it was just a special moment.
When you are running, what is going through your mind at that very moment? Are you thinking about, I need to go faster to get this sub 4, or what's going on in your head?
Yeah, there's a lot going through your head, but just trying to focus mainly. I think the last 200 was the most my head was just spinning, and someone yelled out that we were at 3:31 or 3:32 with 200 meters to go. So that means I have to book it to break 4, and so there was a lot of doubt, kind of like, I'm not going to break it. I ran too slow. But right at that moment, I was like, I just got to go as fast as possible to get this sub 4.
What was the key for you last year during the outdoor season?
The main key was staying healthy. I never got an injury like I usually do. I get little kinks here and there, but once I hit that 3:43 in California, I just stayed consistent and relaxed and didn't get injured, and then I could just focus on my races, and it just played out perfect for me.
When you were running at Scott City, did you ever expect to be putting your name on the national level with such accomplishments?
I never thought that because I didn't really like running that much until I got here. I thought I was just a basketball player that occasionally ran the 800 here and there. But now that looking back to where I was and now where I am now, it's kind of unbelievable little story I got going.
Do you have any lofty goals for the upcoming season?
The main goal for me this year that is pretty lofty is to make USA championships. That's racing against the best milers and half milers in the United States. So that would be really cool. I have to run, I think, 4 seconds faster in the 1500. So I think I'm capable of doing it, but that's my main goal for this year.
When you look back on your running career at FHSU, do you think you'll ever forget all those things that you accomplished during the 2018 season, including getting engaged?
Oh man, I don't think I'll ever forget, and that was just a little icing on the cake, was getting engaged at our home facility. So that 2018 season was amazing. I broke 4 in the mile and almost got John Mason's record, but getting engaged was cool, and I think all those memories are just going to stick with me forever.
Thank you so much for joining me, Brett.
Thank you for having me.
Tune in next week to see what is going on in FHSU athletics.
Go ahead, Jabot.
Well, game time. Everybody ready?
Oh yeah, as ready as you can be. I think everyone's excited. You know, there's a lot of anticipation, and obviously when you're practicing against each other, you know, tensions boil up, and you know you can't really, you know, you don't want to hurt your own team, and you don't want to be aggressive with your own team too much. But you know, when you get to play another team, all that anticipation and excitement, you actually get to let it all out on the field. So yeah, there's a lot of excitement and anticipation. So you know.
With you being a senior, is there a different feel this time around? Just are you just trying to soak everything up a little bit, or?
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to soak it all in for the last time. You know, it's just, I mean, after being here for 5 years, you know, they really do tell you that time flies, and you believe it, but you're like, you can't really fly that fast, and it really does, because I feel like I was just a freshman. So really just trying to really, like you said, soak everything in and really just enjoy the process, you know, the work, you know, going to practice, you know, little things like that, because I mean, this will be the last time I do it, you know, at the, you know, collegiate level. So yeah, I'm definitely trying to enjoy the experience.
A lot of talk about defending the championship from a year ago, but now that it's game week, have you noticed a different feel at all leading up to the opener, being a defending conference champ?
I mean, I feel like everyone's been coming to practice with the, you know, mentality that we have to defend the championship from day one, so there hasn't really been a change. You know, I feel like if there was a change, you know, just in game week, then that would be an issue, because we would only be practicing because we had a game this week. Now, I feel like we've been practicing at a pretty consistent level all through camp, but I feel like we've been approaching it, you know, the same way each day in and day out, that we have a championship to protect, and, you know, we have to defend the fort. So I don't really, you know, witness a change or anything like that. So.
Is there danger in, you know, a lot of talk about defending and getting wrapped up in that, and just going out and playing football the way you guys know how to play football?
Yeah, I mean, well, you always, you know, you don't really want to get caught up in all the, you know, the glamour and all that stuff. You know, at the end of the day, championship or not, you know, we're trying to win football games, and I feel like, you know, everyone's been coming in with the mentality that, you know, we have to take it one day at a time, one practice, one rep at a time, and if you just do the little things, you know, you can do, and the little things you can control in that situation, everything else will really fall into place. So, you know, you can't just go out there, you know, with the mindset that, oh, we have to do this, and that, we have to defend all that. You know, you just have to control what it is you can control, you know, and if you do that, I feel like you'll be successful. I think that is what we're doing, so.
Is it easier to believe that now that you guys have been through an MIAA title, that you understand what it takes to get there?
Yeah, definitely. You know, when you actually experience the process firsthand, you know, know what you need to do as a team, you know, to get there. And, you know, me and Jake having the experience, and a bunch of other guys on the team and the coaching staff having that experience, we're obviously better off because of it. You know, we know how to handle different circumstances and situations better than what we did previous year, with it being our first championship run. So I think we're definitely more experienced. That comes with time. So I think we're definitely a lot more prepared this year, you know, for things that we might face.
You talk about experience. Has the game slowed down for you at all at your position?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I talked about it, I think it was one of the first few days of camp, but at our age, you know, and our tenureship here, hopefully the game has slowed down for us. You know, if not, then I don't think we should be on the field. But yeah, the game has definitely slowed down for us. It's just more about, you know, actually performing. And when you actually, you know, when the X's and O's are, you know, not a factor, you actually can worry about performing. And, you know, and if you're on the field and you're thinking on the football field, then you're in trouble, because there's no time to think on the football field. You know, when you have someone running at you as fast as they can, there's no time to think. So yeah, the game was definitely slowed down for me. And I mean, I can't speak for Jay too, but, you know, I'm sure it has for him too. I hope it has.
How about the defensive side? I mean, you guys have been really good for a lot of years. You feel you got a chance to be a pretty solid group again this year?
Yeah, you know, year in and year out, you know, Coach Harris, our D coordinator, and all our coaches, you know, Coach I, Coach Deli, and all the guys on the defensive side, they do a great job of preparing us, you know, for games. And that's why our defense has, you know, been one of the most successful in previous years. It's because, you know, schematically and, you know, just as a mentality as a defense, they do a great job preparing us. And I was actually watching Hard Knocks, you know, which is the televised show, Cleveland Browns. I'm sure you guys know of it. And their defensive coordinator on there actually reminded me a lot of Coach Harris. Don't tell him I told you guys that. But they're literally identical, just, you know, their mannerisms and the way they act. And I was just like, you know, if I were to jump and be plugged into, you know, this system, I feel like I wouldn't skip a beat, because we have, you know, an NFL quality defensive coordinator here and an NFL quality coaching staff here. So, yeah, you know, the success of our defense, you know, is definitely attributed to the coaching staff and just the mentality they bring in day and out and what they expect from us. So, I see us having a successful year again.
You've got great experience on the defense, but who are some of the guys you could see maybe having breakout years on the defense?
Breakout years on the defense, I can see Colt Traxel having a breakout year. You know, I could see KK having a breakout year. Keelan Kennedy, he's going to be our corner. And, you know, I could see, I mean, minus the guys that haven't already had breakout years, you know, Wyatt Parker, Sterling Stokes, all those guys on the D-line, they had decent years last year, but I could also see them having breakout years if you don't consider last year a breakout year. But, I mean, everyone that's new to the defense, I can see them having a breakout year. That's just kind of how it is, and that's a credit to the coaching staff, you know, being able to bring guys in and, you know, fill the roles of guys that left last year. So you have to answer your question.
Talk about defending Central Missouri's quarterback in their offense.
Yeah, they have an explosive offense, and, you know, they like a big play, and they like to go over the top of your head. So, you know, we have to be sound on defense. We have to, you know, make sure that, you know, everyone does their assignment and everyone's in the right position. And, you know, the way you defend a team like that is you have to be perfect in your assignment. And, you know, as a defense in the past, we've done a good job of being able to defend the big play and being able to, you know, limit teams to just, you know, itty-bitty plays. And that's what we're going to have to do on Thursday. We're going to have to limit the big play. We're going to have to be sound. We're going to have to execute. We're going to have to do our job. And we're going to have to tackle well. That's going to be huge. Let's tackle well, because the first game, obviously, you know, you don't really tackle that much in practice. So tackling in that first game is always huge. So those are things we're going to have to do.
Good. All right. It's almost like you've done this before.
Ready to hit the dance.
So open up questions for quarterback Jacob Missouri.
Everything working like it should on the offensive side?
Yeah, so far so good. You know, going off what Dwayne said, has been pretty consistent throughout camp. You know, just figuring out, we have some new guys, you know, filling in roles and stuff, but just figuring out how they move in breaks and how fast they are and stuff like that. But that just takes time to, you know, figure out and everything. But you know, it's going good so far, and you know, we got a lot of guys right now who haven't been in like the spotlight, like under the lights yet, and like maybe have played it down for us yet. But you know, come Thursday, I think they'll be okay, and you know, enjoy the moment and soak it all in, and it won't like affect them in a bad way. So it should be good.
You've been here obviously when there wasn't a lot of people on the stands come game day for Fort Hays. That wasn't the case last year. What do you expect Thursday?
I expect it to be a full house. I mean, it's a big game for us. I know it's a big game for Central Missouri too. This kind of first game's always a weird game. We don't really exactly know what they're going to do. I mean, they could have changed a whole bunch of stuff out from last year and stuff, but you know, it's always kind of weird. And you know, this kind of decides where we're going to go from the rest of the season. Are we going to make an uphill climb, or are we going to, you know, like defend the fort and our championship and stuff? You know, I don't want to lose this game and then have to like be perfect the rest of the year. You know, it's just like it's going to be a big one. So I don't know. This kind of, to me, is a really big game, and we need to come out on top.
You've obviously settled into a leadership role. Is that something that kind of came natural to you? I mean, did you have to work at being a leader, or are you kind of a natural leader, do you feel?
Yeah, I feel like a pretty natural leader. You know, it comes with the position, obviously, but you know, you start from the ground up. Like my freshman year, I started to get along with everybody. You know, you become friends with everyone, get to know them, and you know, from there you just start throwing with them, and then you know, tell them what you want from them and what they need and everything like that. It just kind of grows as the years go on, and you know, I feel like everyone like looks up to me, and I try to be that guy who, you know, if they need something or need some energy on the field, or feel like something's going wrong, like they can look at me and, you know, I got you covered type thing. So yeah, it's just part of the position, and this is who I am. So hopefully, you know, it just spreads off to everybody else, and we can get this thing rolling.
You talk about throwing with these guys, and it was at one time they showed Peyton Manning on television running, going through the routes with all those different receivers in the offseason, and then it seemed like it became a thing. Is there a quarterback that you watched as a kid or through high school that you wanted to emulate?
Obviously, a big Tim Tebow fan growing up, but I loved the way he approached everything. He was super intense on the field, and just a great guy off the field and everything. And that was just really like a really easy person to look up to. He's actually from my part of my hometown and everything like that. So it was really cool. And we actually watched a lot of Peyton Manning film in meetings and stuff. So all that is kind of funny you said it, but yeah, it's really important to get with your guys and know what you want from them and what they expect and everything. And it makes a big difference. You can't just go in there blindly and think that everything's going to be okay, because it's not. So it actually makes a big difference, and I think we've been doing a good job with that.
You have a chance to break almost every passing record at Fort Hays State. You've had a great career, but it almost seems like this offense, you can run the ball and establish that, everything else, and your job as a quarterback becomes a lot easier. Is that still kind of the key, being able to establish a good ground game?
Yeah, absolutely. It makes my job easier at the same time, but it's kind of a flow thing. Like if they're doing a good job stopping the run, obviously, I need to throw the ball, and vice versa. But it's just kind of a feel thing. So whatever's working for us, we're going to keep rolling with that. And whatever's working at the time, we'll just go with that. And I think it's important to be balanced and whatnot. But it's just a feel thing.
Glenn kind of mentioned about being a senior year, really savoring and taking it all in. Have you kind of felt that same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. It does really go by fast, and it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I love going to practice. It's probably my favorite part of the day. I love going to practice and being with the guys and stuff. I know it's going to be, when this is over, that's the thing I'm going to miss the most, is being around everybody and the relationships I have with them. And but for now, I'm trying to, game one, let's go get the job done and have some fun with it.
Mechanically, have you changed in your time here? Just mechanics and how you go about the position?
I actually, it was last night, I was just going on huddle and looking at old film and stuff from my redshirt year when I was here. And I was just watching stuff. I was like, my gosh, I was like, that was me back then. That's crazy. And I kind of giggled at it, and it was really cool how with the new coaching changes and everything here, how much better I've gotten over the years. And coming out of high school, I didn't know anything at all. I ran like a wing tee. I didn't know anything about a defense or anything like that. And so it's crazy how kids nowadays are coming in here and they know all that stuff, and they're just ahead of the curve and stuff. So it's really cool. But I've changed a lot since I've been here, and it's been for the better. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a long ride, but I think it's been a lot of fun so far.
On offense, who are some of the guys that you could really see kind of having breakout years there?
We need Charles Signer to have a big year. We need him to have a big year for sure. Replacing Naheem is, not an easy task at all. That dude is a dog, and he's always falling forward no matter what. And we got Lane back outside, and Harley and Dre. So Matt's a big time player too. So we have a lot of weapons. It's just trying to figure out how to get them the ball in the right situations and whatnot. So I think we have a good scheme right now and a plan to do that, and we just got to execute from there. But there's nobody that is my go-to guy right now. I feel like everyone can make the same play as the other person, so that's not a bad thing at all. I really like that, and I trust every one of them to get open when I need them to. So I'll see Thursday how it goes.
Based on last year, what do you expect out of the Central Missouri defense?
Not a whole lot different. It's really hard to describe them. It's kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say undisciplined, I guess what I would say. It's just they're always looking to see where to go instead of actually moving to where they should be. It's kind of weird. And but they always have their eyes in the backfield and everything, and so we know that. But it's really weird. It's really hard to explain, but we just got to do what we are meant to do in the formations and play wise, and then it all unfolds before your eyes and everything like that. But it's going to be a weird maybe first quarter or so just to figure out what they're doing and what we need to do and stuff. So we're expecting that, and hopefully we just get some points in the meantime while we figure it out.
Good? All right. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and open up questions for head coach Chris Brown.
Kind of going off of the whole seat thing, are there any superstitions or any things that you guys did a year ago that you're bringing back because it worked so well a year ago?
Yeah, I'm going to grow my beard back out. We started that on, we had pictures on Friday, and that's last year I shaved on Friday. I didn't shave after, so that's one thing we are bringing back. Jacob's supposed to do the same thing as well, so we'll see how that works. Hopefully it's really, really long when the season's over. That's what we're hoping for. Other than that, I used to be really superstitious, wore the same socks, underwear, clothes, everything was the same, but as I've gotten older, I kind of changed some of it. It's all in the players. See what they can do and see how they play, but yeah, I've changed a little bit, but I still have a few here and there I hold on to.
How do you feel going into Thursday night's game with everything?
I feel good. I feel like these guys are prepared. I mean, they've worked hard really through camp. The first week of school was a little bit tough. Now we're kind of in our second week, but the kids have really locked in and done the things we've asked them to do, and we've been on time to everything, and they've really practiced hard. They can kind of condition during practice. They don't complain too condition either, after practice, because they want to be prepared. But they've been up here watching film, going through the scouting reports, and they're preparing themselves to for a good game. But I feel good about it. I'm just kind of anxious to get out there and see what this group has. I mean, we've missed a few guys from last year that were impact guys, and hopefully some of these young guys can fill in and do the things that we're asking them to do, and I think they really can.
Dorian mentioned that it didn't seem like there was any increase in intensity this week for practice, meaning that for the last few weeks everybody's been practicing like a game was that week, and he thought that was a good thing, just seeing as they weren't preparing hard just because there's a game. Feel the same way?
Yeah, I do. I mean, they've practiced hard all the way through camp. Sometimes they kind of start camp. First couple of days are really intense, excited, and as they get tired, they kind of lose that intensity and that enthusiasm. But I haven't seen that this year. I mean, this group is just every day they come to work. They work hard on special teams. They work hard in individual drills. When we do 7-on-7 against each other, they're high tempo. When we do team stuff together, they're high tempo. So they play with an edge in practice, so hopefully there's a bigger edge on Thursday when we play this week. But I'm proud of the way they've handled this so far. I mean, they know their target's on their back, and they have to work. If they don't work, any little slip up can cost them. So it's a good group, really good group.
How much are you just looking forward to the atmosphere? I mean, you would think it would be one of your better crowds, especially for a home opener.
I'm real excited about it. I mean, I know the fans are going to come out and support us. They did last year quite a bit. The Pitt game was awesome. The Ferris State game was awesome with the size of the crowd, and hopefully that grows as the years go on. This is one of those years where we pack the house every time we're at home, but we have to win to do that. And if you win ball games, they'll come watch you play. If you're not winning, nobody wants to go watch a loser. So we got to make sure that we win ball games and give them a reason to come back and put something good on the field.
Is there a different feel having won an undefeated MIAA championship? Is there a different level of expectation now?
There is. I mean, last year I expected our guys to win, but now it's that's just needs to be the norm. We need to step on the field and expect to win the game. But not being arrogant and cocky about it, but just having that confidence that when I step on the field, the coach expects us to win this game, we expect to win this game. And I think our kids have that, but they know it's going to take work and it's going to take commitment. And they've done those things. To help themselves win ball games. Just by this summer, with the number of kids that we've had here, the 7-on-7s that they did as well, they made that commitment. And through fall camp, they took care of their bodies through fall camp. We fed them and they ate what they were supposed to eat, and hydrated themselves and lifted while we're going through fall camp. I mean, they've done all the steps necessary to be successful, and so we expect to win when we get on the field. And we know it's going to be a battle, we know it's going to be a fight, but we're going to do everything we can to win that ball game.
That's going a bit ago about a lot of talk of defending the championship, and obviously that's the goal. But is it too easy to get caught up in that and then forget about just go play football and do what you can do? You guys are good, and you have to kind of balance all of that a little bit.
We really haven't talked about it too much. When I first started our first day of camp, I talked about defending our title, and maybe every once in a while I'll say something, but I tell them what really matters is you guys take care of yourselves. Worry about what you're doing, your work ethic, the way you play the game, the way you prepare, mentally, in the film room and with their scouting reports. If you take care of us and do the things that we're supposed to do and do them very, very well, you're going to be okay on Saturday. Because, I feel like we have the talent, with the kids we have on the field to win any ball game. But it's the stupid little mental mistakes that can kill us, whether it's a penalty or giving up a big play on defense or turn the ball over on offense or our special teams aren't right. We got to make sure that we're prepared in every situation, that we don't make those silly mistakes that's going to cost us the ball game.
Talk about defending Bowles and that high-power offense.
Got to keep him in the pocket, and that's the whole thing. I think he's his best when he's on the run, because he can make things really happen. He scrambles well. If he needs a tuck and run, he's going to get the first down. So, we got to find a way to contain him. We got to make him earn everything. We can't give up an easy play for a touchdown, and we got to make him drive down the field. Make them get first downs. And I think if we could do that defensively, we'll have some success. And hopefully they make a mistake and we can capitalize on offense after they make that mistake. But it's just containing him. He is a tremendous football player. He's a tremendous athlete. And we've got to do everything we can to keep him in the pocket and keep him from scrambling.
Coaches would love to have a game where okay, we're the better team and we should win our opener. But is there have a nationally ranked game for both teams in the top 25? Is that make it a little bit more exciting?
It does, and it really lets you know where you're at, in your program or kind of how this season's going to go. And it's not going to determine exactly how it goes, but it's a good start to just kind of seeing where you're at. Are we as good or better than we were last year, or do we got to change some things to help us get better? But I like games like this. I like high competitive games. It's going to be a physical game. It's going to be both teams trying to fight for a conference championship, and those are the things that we look forward to. And I'm excited about it. It's going to be fun, and almost every game like that, every game in our conference is like that. And so this is just another test, and it's against a very, very good football team.
Jacob mentioned that Central's defense is kind of unorthodox and that they really like to take a lot of chances. Do you see that in them, or what do you see out of the defense, and what's going to be the keys to have success against them?
You just never know. Next year, man, what they did last year is probably not really what they're going to do this year. You just don't know. They're going to have the same philosophy. That they have the guys to play man-to-man coverage, play in and play out. But they do. They play the run hard. They put a lot of guys in the box. They put a lot of stress on the corners and their safeties to play man coverage. I think we got to beat them a few times just to try to get them out of that man coverage so much. But they do take chances. In the past, they've liked to blitz. They give you some different looks. They give you a 3-man front, a 4-man front. And you just don't know what you're going to get from them. So, we got to prepare for everything. With a 3-man to 4-man, sometimes it looks like a 5-man front because they bring those outside guys in so close to the line of scrimmage. So, there'll be times there's 9 guys in the box, depending on what your personnel is. And, we got to find a way to beat those corners on one-on-one coverage and hopefully get them out, get them out of the comfort zone of what they like to do.
Coach, is there a focus shift during week 1? Do you talk to the players more about the opposing team, or do you kind of just keep that between the coaches and let the players do what you guys do?
We just watch film, evaluate, and try to decide what they're going to do to us, and come up with a game plan on both sides of the balls and on special teams, and just tell our players our expectations, and these are the things we're going to do that we think can help win us this ball game. And the kids they buy into what we're doing. They believe in us, they have faith in us. If they watch film, they got suggestions, we're open for it, just to listen to them talk. But I think like we're saying, it's just we got to worry about ourselves and make sure that we do things the right way. And I think if we do that, things are going to be okay. But I don't think you go into much. You still got to prepare for Central and know exactly what they're doing. But it's just making sure we're seeing the plays and we're making the plays, in practice. So it carries over to the game on Thursday.
When you came here 4 days, you talked about building a program that wins championships and is competing in the playoffs. Now that you've gotten a team to that point, you're trying to defend all of that. Is it everything you thought it would be? Is it as fun or as exhausting or whatever the thought you had 6 or 7 years ago? Is that how it is now?
It's fun, it's exhausting, it's stressful, especially when you got people coming up and tell you, hey, the pressure's on now after what you did last year, we're expecting that same thing again. And, I do too. I have those same expectations for our guys, and I like having a little bit of that pressure as well, because it just, if you don't love doing it, then why are you doing it? I don't want to just have a team that's average year in and year out. I want to play at a high level, consistently, as I'm here at Fort Hays State, because I want to win a conference championship again. I want to win a national championship here, and if you don't have those expectations, then why are you doing this? And don't think it only makes, it makes kids work harder, makes them more committed, more disciplined, and that's going to carry over in life as well, when you have this kind of pressure and the things you got to do, because, in life, it's a pressure situation. When you get married, when you have kids, there's a lot of things that you have to do the right way, or things can go wrong, but I like the pressure. For some reason there's something wrong with me or what, but I like it, I enjoy it. My wife probably doesn't so much because I'm kind of a jerk at home sometimes because of it, because I just need to get to week one. Once I get to week one and see what we got, things feel a lot better and I calm down a little bit. So we'll see what happens on Thursday. But the pressure's fun. I enjoy it. It's just part of the game. Took this job for a reason, right? And that's to win ball games. And so I got to look at that, and it comes with the job. Pressure comes with the job. All right. Thanks, guys.